All right.
So, Davey, we've been growing the JTN TikTok a little bit, right? We've been making moves, making money moves, and
Yes.
I posted the video of you talking like really passionately about Indy 500 qualifying from last week.
I think I saw
Did
this
you-
comment.
Now you've been asking for people to argue with you. So I don't know if you want to open up TikTok right now and respond to this person. I don't know who they are. But I think it would be funny. But for anyone that
It's funny
doesn't
you
know,
think that, because I think it'd be funny too.
for anyone that doesn't know,
Small
I've been really trying to grow our TikTok presence because it's easy. So not really, but to kind of help with getting more people over here to JTN too, because we're trying to do some more different content and whatnot. Still waiting for disqualified episode number 4.
I was gonna. So
Soon see ya.
I was busy last week, and then I was like, "Oh, we should record it this weekend." And then, oh yeah, 2/3 of the podcast are going to be on the other side of the country.
You guys, if you're all gonna be there in what is it, September, October, right?
I think so. Yeah,
You guys should do an episode live.
I'd be down to do disqualified
I'm
live.
down.
Where
I'm super down.
I'll buy 2 more microphones and a little soundboard, and make somebody be our sound guy, and we'll record to a studio audience in Will's apartment.
Oh my god, I have a crazy idea. What if Joe came to Charlotte instead and we did a Fake Racers podcast in person?
Yeah, we could do that too. All the podcasts. Oof Sides live too. That's right, it's coming back.
It's new home right here on JTN2 with your host Matthew Steelman and Dewey Schramm the third. Did I do it, Dewey?
I
Dewey?
hate it here.
Dewey's asked me a couple times about broadcasting. I just kind of go, yeah. And
You know
then
he broadcasts. You know he
I
like
know he
commentates,
does.
right?
I haven't
He
been
does a
able
good
to find.
job.
He sent the links, and then I just forget about it, and I don't look at them.
That's your wow.
Dewey's good.
No,
You're a
and
butthole.
that's not
Dewey
like
does good though.
No, I know he does. Like I've seen some of it. It's more so it's me like, we've talked about this like behind the doors, but if people don't know, when my name's on the door, I get very protective over it.
Yeah.
That's
You gotta realize. I think
Realize
the
the issue.
Dewey. I think
Dewey
Dewey's
would be
persona
good.
changes.
yeah. No, I know.
I was-
for his.
I was gonna say, because if you spend like 5 minutes in a voice chat with him, you'd be like, "This guy barely speaks English," and then you like watch his broadcast, and you're like, "Oh my god, where is this the rest of the time I'm
Dewey-
hanging out with you?"
There are people. This isn't a Dewey Schramm episode, but maybe it should be.
Maybe it should be.
I'm gonna make sure I clip this and post it. Anyways,
Yeah.
no, there's people that are really good like in big groups, and then there's people that are really good like one-on-one, Like I would consider myself probably someone that's a little bit better one-on-one.
Yeah.
Don't think I always do the best in big groups. I get a little too loud and obnoxious sometimes, or I'm too quiet. There is no in between. So yeah, I don't know. Davey, answering that, you're replying to that person.
Yeah, I just replied to him just now.
What was your reply?
This is an L.
So,
Short, sweet,
folks,
to the point.
remember when Davey says he wants to argue with you? That's what he means by argue with you. Just tell you you're wrong and not
Yeah.
Well,
actually
here's the
have
deal.
discourse.
Here's the
I'm gonna
deal.
roast you in the comments.
Here's the deal, Joe. Before you get on your little high horse about
I'm not on a
discourse.
high horse. I'm actually sitting in a chair.
I can tell because you're like 3 foot nothing. Anyway, my point being, when your comment, why is he giving me a death glare? Anyway, when your comment is, it's not that good. I don't like. What do you want me to say to you? Like, do you enjoy
This
being
comment's
wrong?
not very good.
Comment's not very good.
It was better than the All-Star race.
It's better than the All-Star
Yeah.
race. You're right.
Got him. Anyways,
Joey,
this,
I know. Joe, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of your height. I know you're at least 5 feet tall.
how
I think
tall are
you're
you,
taller than
Davey?
me, so.
How tall are you, Davey?
I'm 6 foot nothing.
I'm a little bit shorter than you.
You're probably still taller than me, though. So.
Not
Well,
a
you
lot,
want to know? I wouldn't make. I would have known that if you showed up to anything. It all comes back.
Maybe I'll be there Sunday. I'll book a plane and everything. I'll get there. Now I'll drive. We'll
There you
see. That's not a joke to tell on the podcast. But welcome to the Fake Racers podcast, post All Star pre biggest weekend in motorsports edition.
Boy, are we hungover from that All-Star race.
Oh, what a barn burner.
I actually couldn't fall asleep till like 1:30 last night. It was not good.
Because you were waiting for excitement in your life.
Yeah.
Ain't a lot of it.
We're never gonna work for NASCAR.
No.
I saw, but do you say it Bozy?
I've heard some people say Bozy. I've heard some people say Bozzy. I don't know.
I'm probably Bozzy, but
whatever. Everyone knows who you're talking about when you say that.
That dude is so good at writing the technical stuff and just like, chef's kiss. And then to see that like he's not working with NASCAR anymore, and then you see what he like. We'll talk about the All-Star race, but just makes me think, hey, funny. Anyways, here we sit after the All-Star race. I'm Joe. That's Davey. That's Matthew. I did it.
It's me, Davey.
It's me, Matthew.
Oh wait, I got to point the opposite way because I flipped my cam. Whatever. Matthew's below still.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. So
yeah.
I never move.
That's Davey next to me. Anyways, Fake Racers podcast. Audio people are freaking out because we're giving them another spaz, but here we are. Just like the All-Star race, we're probably making you pull your hair out.
Good.
And here we sit.
Oh boy.
So so I completely disregarded the Open, but I would like to talk about the Open real quick, just for like a couple seconds. It wasn't good.
No.
Stenhouse got out front at the start of the race and stayed out front for 20 laps. Chris Buescher won the second segment because Daniel Suarez and Tyler Reddick, or Daniel Suarez and Corey LaJoie got side by side.
Yeah, LaJoie stayed out
Yeah.
instead of pitting to get track position.
And then Suarez pretty much won the third stage by default because Reddick wrecked. And not that Suarez was really fast. He ended up finishing top 5. Like, that's not like, Suarez was bad. But, Suarez got in, and then Reddick wrecked himself and was like, see, guys, I told you I couldn't run up there, which I thought was the worst thing ever because I'm pretty sure he won the fan vote. Like, I feel like he won the fan vote. Eric Jones ended up getting it. Like, Daniel Suarez and Tyler Reddick were probably 1-2. So that was funny.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that Texas sucks.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did you ever just think a track is just unsavable? Yeah. You just can't save this. There's nothing going on.
This was kind of like the final test of the next gen, because it was like, hey, you made Phoenix watchable. You made Dover watchable. Maybe Texas will be good? No.
It was, so that was the thing, like, it was still decent mid-pack supposedly from what I heard, but when the guy that started on pole led the first 32 laps until he wrecked, and we'll get there, and then the guy that took over the lead led till the end of the stage, and then his teammate passed him and then won the last stage and led the last 84 laps.
God.
Yeah, the All-Star.
Yeah, there was all that hype about like, oh, every segment winner is gonna start up front, and then Kyle Busch just kept leading, and I was like, we might just have one segment winner at this rate. He just might lead them all.
I really didn't put a lot about this because the finish was controversial. So let's just start at the end. Let's do that.
Should we? I was gonna say, I feel like we should talk about the wreck first because that has a little bit of context on the finish, which I can explain.
So I understand. I think I know where you're going there, and I'm going to disagree with you, but we can start where you want because I'm a good boss and I take input from my contributors. But let's start with the wreck. The wreck.
Yeah.
First of all, Kyle Larson lost a tire, and I saw everyone,
that was a hit too.
Saw everyone yelling Goodyear sucks again. Larson lost the right rear, Larson lost the right front, and Busch lost the right rear, so really not a big correlation there with the tires sucking, in my opinion. Larry Mack said it too. He's America's crew chief. You dang on better listen to Larry Mack. And no one else had a tire failure. They said Christopher Bell did, but his looked like he got loose, and then probably the tire went because, it we've talked about it with these tires. You can't extreme test them or else they go kablooey.
Yeah, there's not as much as like a
There's no inner liner.
I guess
and they're thinner.
leeway in the
Yeah.
tire. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go. Cause that Kyle Busch wreck was big.
Yeah. Bush loses a right rear off of 4 from the lead and trying to get down across the track out of the way. Ross Chastain was committed to the bottom, and things happened. And Ross Chastain went space words, which was not
probably the last thing I expected out of this All-Star race somehow, and about the only thing that happened, really, besides the finish. That was big. Yeah, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have next gen cars ramping over each other on my bingo card for the weekend, but
yeah.
I was like, oh, when I saw that, and I don't normally audibly make noises watching races.
It was more like spectacular looking than anything, because really the only hard hit was like Chase.
No, so okay, the thing I was terrified about was because of the way, and you saw the 18 car missing that entire C-post section.
Mm-hmm.
I was really worried that Ross literally drove over Kyle's head.
Yeah.
Was the first thing I thought, and not that like I think the roll cages are probably the safest thing about these cars when it comes to that. Like we talked about it last year when all the tests and the reports came out about the next gen and safety and blah 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 blah. Dummy died. Blunt force is not good with the next gen, and that still continues to be the case when you hear drivers talking about it's the hardest hit I've ever taken. But I got really worried. Really worried because first of all, Fox didn't show Kyle for like a solid minute.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not normal. Because normally, Kyle Busch, he's throwing his window net down, he's getting out, he's ripping his helmet,
Those are good shots. Can't waste those.
Exactly. Come on, Fox.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really concerned, but yeah, the hit Chase took. Obviously, Chase Elliott fans were angry at Ross Chastain for some reason.
What's new?
When that was happening, I was like when Ross hit Kyle, I was like, oh my god, and then he landed all fours, and I was like, oh okay, and then he clips Chase, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be bad.
That's big.
Because there's so little banking in turn 1 that you scrub off like no speed going uphill, so Chase hit it so hard.
Yeah,
and he got up in the wall.
And there's a ton of at least he had a ton of track to think about how hard he was going to hit too.
Yeah,
that wide ass turn 1. Yeah. I wasn't all that worried about Kyle though. To Joe's point, like I know for a fact that the driver compartment of those cars is insanely strong. It would mean like it definitely looked bad, but I was like,
car ramping over another car though isn't normally something you see.
Yeah,
in stock cars,
stock cars, and even when it's like open wheel cars, it's because of the wheels. It's not necessarily like you're ramping over the guy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, when you have that like right front to left rear, or vice versa, you know, like the car it gets over and it kind of tips and it falls away. But like Ross went over.
Yeah,
that's why I was worried.
I get what you mean. Yeah,
but you're not wrong. Like the greenhouse technology has come so far to keep these drivers safe. Doesn't mean that they dissipate the energy, but whatever. The different bird, different cage.
What were you gonna say, Matt?
When you're talking about the greenhouse being entirely missing, we saw it at the Daytona 500 when Burton rolled, how there's basically no structural rigidity of the entire like back of the greenhouse. So that's why when these cars get airborne or on top of each other, they just kind of shred that part of the car. So yeah, it's like one of those things that's like kind of scary to get used to because you're so used to like that's part of the survival cell, and now they're just like, don't need anything back there. So luckily everybody was okay though.
It's never good that when a car is in the air at the 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
I guess except for maybe Atlanta now, but also still not good.
Yeah.
But so yes, very scary crash. Like 30-something laps into the All-Star race. And I know why you wanted to say that first, because we quickly move to the end of the race.
Yeah.
And let's Ryan
very
Blaney,
quickly
again. 84 laps. So Cindric led for a little bit. after Kyle Busch crashed out, and then Blaney took over 84 laps. The All-Star race was 125 laps. There are extra laps tacked on for the overtime. We'll get there. That's it, NASCAR.
Oh, we will.
Stenhouse, Blaney's in 3 or 4. They're literally talking about it on the broadcast about, he's trying to get back to the start-finish line. He doesn't want to caution. And you hear Mike Joy say, there's a car in a wall off of turn 2. And then he's calling Blaney to the win. And then he's like, maybe caution.
Dude, watching it live.
Waving the checkered flag.
Watching it live, I was like, I had the race on one monitor, and I had the USRL Discord on another. And I was watching all the Blaney fans lose their mind, and I was sitting there, I was like, the caution lights are on.
Oh, yeah.
This is not over.
Yeah.
I did tune in for this. This was fun. This little bit. I was loosely paying attention most of the race. I was intently paying attention when I saw this nonsense start to happen.
So let's start there, because that's the best part. That was not a caution. Was not worthy of a caution.
We should also clarify, in every other race, if a caution comes out on the last lap, the race is over.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, they implemented a special rule where even if it's the last lap, rules. Yeah, if there's a caution, we're re-racking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
ARCA rules.
That was not a caution.
No, if a tire laying in the grass at Kansas, if I forget who spun around, stopped on the back stretch at Las Vegas.
Spencer Boyd.
Boyd.
For 2 laps.
Isn't a caution. And I guess get a different race director, but the dumb excuse.
That is a dumb excuse.
If those aren't cautions, did Christopher Bell get a caution for when he had his moment off of 4? We lost the tire, smacked the wall. I think he did.
Yeah.
But there's been times this year where guys have lost tires, have spun, have been perpendicular to the racing surface with oncoming traffic, that there hasn't been a yellow thrown. Stenhouse kept going, scraped the wall like he would at Darlington. There was one car behind him, and it was Harvick, and he was literally on the other side of the track. Here's Stenhouse up by the wall, here's Harvick, no risk.
Yeah.
No debris got thrown down because Fox had a really good shot of the car coming off the corner. There's no debris.
The best part is that camera angle even showed there's no damage on Stenhouse's car.
So immediately it's now looking good.
So race director probably looks up, just hits the big red button, or I guess in this case, big yellow button. Davey liked that one.
Pretty good. I got caught in a fit of yawns, but you broke up the fit with a little funny there.
Pretty good. So that's a caution. Blaney, again, had gotten the checkered flag. If you listen to his in-car audio, his spotter tells him he won the race. His crew chief tells him he won the race. The crew is going crazy on pit road. I got a whole breakdown of this coming, so watch it over on JTN2. It's fun.
Should also mention the caution lights come on maybe 2 seconds before he crosses the line. So, they could not have squeezed it in any closer, I feel like.
I go back, I think it was Gordon at Martinsville one year. He was taking the white flag, and it was like that. I remember that. I don't remember what year it was. It might have been 2014, 2013. I don't care. Jeff Gordon fans whine a lot. I don't really care.
Joe,
called for.
Joe, I really like you right now.
I know. Getting all the brownie points from Davey.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna say
it's a good day to be a Davey Hazard guy.
It's crazy because Chase Elliott fans are like a weird amalgamation of Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr. fans.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I gotta stop, but it's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It shouldn't have been a caution. So Blaney thinks he won. Takes the window net down. A lot of people are like, "Why'd you do that, Blaney?" Again, just told you. His spotter and his crew chief told him he won.
Because in literally every single other NASCAR race that's ever been run, the race is over at that point.
Yeah. To be fair, though, everyone knows the rules going into the race.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you don't know the rule. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but let's not let them off the hook for that. But let them off. I'm more willing to let them off the hook for the fact that, you know, he literally took the checkered flag.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference between not knowing the rules and not knowing there was a caution because it happened like that.
Yeah,
like right before the line.
Yellow lights are on.
Yeah.
But he takes the checkered flag, and it doesn't matter what the flagman has. It matters if the lights are on or if it matters if the guys hit the button is what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also as like someone who's been to a lot of racing events, different kinds of racing events, I mean, like all the way up and down the ladders. Sometimes after a race directors will put the yellow lights on after the checkered flag. So it's like it's not like a totally impossible thought in Ryan Blaney's head that like, oh, the race is over.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the lights are on for.
Or that the caution got thrown after I crossed the start-finish line.
Yeah, too. Exactly.
So anyways, Blaney has his window net down. Fumbling with it, trying to get it back up.
Which you can't do from inside the race car, by the way.
And he didn't do.
Yep.
Again,
because you can't. It's literally impossible.
Got some really good pictures of it.
It's impossible to put it back up from inside the race car. You can't.
And I think it's also important to mention they paced for like 8 laps. Like while he was fiddling around with his net. So like NASCAR clearly knew they kind of screwed up here.
Yeah. Thankfully Blaney still wins it, and there are a lot of people like being, oh, thankful Blaney wins it, blah 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 blah. But it's the window net thing, right? Because what do we talk about on here a lot? That we care about. What's number one thing we care about here on
safety?
Safety.
There we go. Because what does S stand for?
Window net.
There we go. So Blaney does not have the window net fastened.
It's like the bar. So the way the window, there's like the little
is out the window.
Yeah, there's like the little part that the bar slides into, and then it clamps at the front. You can't get both of them, so he clamps it at the front, and the bar's just wedged against the B pillar, so it's like hanging crooked. Technically, it's latched, but it's not fully attached.
So, again, I got a good breakdown of it, but the rule states that the squares, the 1-inch squares, have to be, every square has to be a 1-inch square. They can't be deformed in any way. All of those squares are deformed because it's not hung right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the rule is not followed. NASCAR, Scott Miller, after gets to fall on the sword, I guess.
Yep.
He is the vice president of competition for NASCAR, so it's his team. Says that their reasoning for letting it go was that they saw that he had both hands on the wheel down the backstretch coming to green.
What?
So the net must. And the other thing he said too is they were never 100% sure if he had it up or not.
All right. I know you all have access to those high-res Fox cams because we all know how much Fox loves them close-up shots.
He literally zoomed into it, going through 1 and 2 on the restart.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
This feels unnecessary.
I'm trying to figure out how to start my point on this.
Matt, you said something yesterday that I really liked. And I don't know if you're about to start it, but it's number one, it's the All-Star race. Number two, it's not unprecedented for NASCAR to call a team in. You can finish. I'll let you finish your point.
I was going to say, so the difference between these two precedents is one of them is Blaney took his window net down, and the other one is this is a mistake by NASCAR. But you can make an argument that the caution was a mistake because Blaney only takes down his window net because he and everybody on the team is under the impression that they've won. But NASCAR has, in the past, multiple times when they used to enforce lug nut rules, that if they called somebody back down to pit road to tighten a lug nut and they found out it was tight, NASCAR has literally thrown a caution and gave that person their position back. So you could almost argue that there's a little bit of a precedent set that they could say, hey, come down, fix your window net, we'll give you the lead back.
Especially for the All-Star race.
Instead, they decided, instead of messing with that rule, we'll just ignore a safety rule and let him go out there with an unfastened window net, because we will not accept blame for this incident. We will not even admit the slightest bit of fault or confusion as being their fault. And that's ridiculous. That's the dumbest part about this whole incident. So
I agree with everything you just said. I feel like it's just, even without that precedent set, like, it's very clear, like, anyone with a brain can put together why Ryan Blaney maybe thought the race was over and why he put his window net down, why his window net would be down. It's an exhibition race for money, for funsies. Bring him down pit road, let him put his window net up. I guarantee you no one is going to care that much.
Yes, Joe?
Joe, it's literally your effing podcast.
I understand what you're saying, and as someone that had put money on Ryan Blaney to win the race, I'm okay with the outcome.
No longer. No more speaky.
No. I know, like, you can say, oh, it's the All-Star race. It's the All-Star race. Doesn't matter. There's still $1 million, or, there's still a bunch of money on the line. It still matters to the teams that they win this money. Denny Hamlin made a good point about talking about how, like, you can't, like, choose when and when not to enforce the rules. You have to enforce the rules. And that's, a lot of people, Denny Hamlin's a hypocrite because blah, 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 blah. He's gotten good breaks from rules, and every driver has. Every driver's gotten bad breaks from rules. Buy a JTN coffee mug, because Davey's is broken like my soul. Anyways, Fake Racers podcast mug with the JTN logo. You get 2 in 1. It's great. It's a great deal.
No handle.
And no handle. Like me. No handles.
Flying off the handle. Let's go.
Flying off the handle. So, the argument that, it's the All-Star race, you can do, Blaney's still screwed up. Like they still screwed up. And NASCAR put themselves in an impossible box, and we should really be talking about the caution. And Dale Jr. made a great tweet about how, like, NASCAR would rather you argue about the window net thing than talk about how that shouldn't have been a caution, and that is what we're doing.
Good point.
And it's not at the... It's to kind of call NASCAR stupid again, because, safety. What happens if Blaney gets spun around there and some piece of debris flies through his window?
He dies.
And there's a big-ass lawsuit on NASCAR.
BFL, baby.
So...
Big fat lawsuit.
Big fat lawsuit. Yep, that's what you meant.
Also, Big Fat Liar, name of a Frankie Muniz song, Frankie Muniz movie, who was in the booth today, I might add.
I remember hearing him, and I'm like, did I have Frankie Muniz? I'm like, oh, crap, it is. I'm glad Blaney won. He deserved to win, blah, 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 blah. We can say all that to Kingdom Come, but NASCAR really decided to put egg on their face. Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
They doubled down on a mistake, and you can't do that. Again, you can say it's the All-Star race all you want. You can't just and that's not what you guys are saying, but you can't just let safety go to the wind, right? You can't.
And it's one of those things where you see that this outrage towards Denny Hamlin is a result of taking his quote wildly out of context, because he flat out said, he's like, Blaney should have won this race 10 out of 10 times. Like, what they should have done is let him come down, fix his window net, and gave him the lead back.
No, he didn't say that.
Did he not?
No, he said he said they should have made him fix his window net, and that's all he said.
Oh,
Logano was the one that said that, maybe they should have just let him come down and fix it.
Yeah.
So Hamlin's point was, and what Hamlin said after that was, like, if I was in his shoes, I would have done the same thing. I would have made them black flag me. I would have, this isn't like, oh, I hate Ryan, like, Ryan Blaney's in the wrong. He's a bad guy because of everything. 100% blame it on NASCAR.
Yeah, he was basically saying NASCAR needs to make a decision here rather than just go, that's fine. And he's like, and he even reiterated, he's like, this is a stupid situation that Ryan got put in, but NASCAR needs to make a decision.
You need to enforce your rules.
Yeah, you can't, and I'm pretty sure I said this on a show last year. I don't remember what race was after, but you can't pick and choose when to enforce rules, especially when safety is involved.
Roval.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just, the rear bumper cover thing.
Or was it Kansas when he didn't have a spotter? Or was that 2 years ago?
That was Kansas was 2 years ago. Still unbelievable how they let that happen.
Yep.
No one talks about it, but it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if we sum up everything we've said, because we've been talking about this for a while now, and there's still more to talk about, with the All-Star race, unfortunately.
I'm already over it.
NASCAR.
Let's talk about the Indy 500.
No, because we got to talk about how bad this is. And in the end, NASCAR needs to enforce their rules and double down on safety, especially after last year's whole debacle with the next-gen car being called not safe and then just continue to plow ahead with it. And then to just blatantly laugh in the face of those safety rules that they have in place because they are important is a disgrace to the sport.
Yep.
And then to act like, oh, well, it was, we had different rules and blah, 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 blah. And, we thought. You can't. When someone's safety is at risk, you cannot afford to be unsure. If he came down pit road, they told him to fix his safety nut and he had it up, give him his spot back. If they wanted to let him come fix it and get his spot back, sure, I don't care. But you cannot let him be out on track with a safety nut that's not up. You cannot you wouldn't let a driver out there without a Hans device. You wouldn't let a driver...
They flat out black flagged people for losing their window nuts before. Kenny Wallace, 2012 Daytona duels.
You have to have a right side window in. You have, these are important things to keep these drivers safe from themselves. You as a sanctioning body, that is your job, is to keep your drivers, your crew members, your officials, and your fans safe. And NASCAR failed at that last night.
Yep.
Woo.
It's an embarrassment. Now, instead of talking about, man, Texas was boring, we're talking about how NASCAR screwed up the finish and made a joke out of its own rules.
And ruined a lot of momentum that the season had going. And let's talk about Texas, because Texas obviously is not... Next Gen cannot fix Texas.
Ugh.
Only Texas can fix it. And they also found out this week, too, that the PJ1 has, completely ruined the surface of Texas as well.
Yep.
It's ruined. It won't come up.
Yeah, and that's been that's been a rumor that's gone around for a while, and they're like, why is it still there? And now they've flat out admitted, yeah, we can't get it off the track. So you spent all that money to repave it, and then you literally ruined it 2 years later. So great job. But we're all just haters. That's what it is.
We all like to complain.
That's what it is, Marcus Smith.
So I know I've used that argument before. And
you don't have to censor that one out.
Oh, it's good.
I didn't even see it, so I don't care. That argument doesn't hold a lot of water when it's 99% of people.
Yep.
There's a difference between people, saying things, clickbaity things to get clicks or stuff, but this was
people in the industry, the drivers are complaining about it.
When
Reddick and Bowman both said before the start of the actual race that this place sucks and you can't pass.
It's not a good thing when our boy Ricky Collette is tweeting about the race, as I've noticed.
Ricky Collette was going off.
Yes.
Oh man, my man was going nuts.
Ricky's my guy, man. We got to get him on here for have a technical show.
I would be so down.
I'll sit out. I'll be useless. I'll be kind of useless.
The guy with experience setting up go-karts. I'm useless. That's what you just said.
What? You're going to talk about go-karts? That you want to talk about Ackerman? What?
I don't know.
No, you don't. You don't know what that is, so it doesn't matter.
Anyways, the next gen couldn't save Texas. The All-Star race needs to be moved immediately. Texas needs to do something. I have a feeling if they do anything, it will be Atlanta. Which we don't need that.
I hope not.
So, other than that, though, like, what did we think about? I thought the race format was fine. Like, I didn't really find anything wrong with the race format. It was Texas, so it kind of stunk.
Yeah.
Having the pit crew competition in the race was cool. The bracket qualifying I thought was a little bit of a letdown, but I saw a lot of people really liking it, so I'm good with it.
It's a cool idea. It's just the track sucks. So
yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk about. Can we? I know we're a little bit past it. I want to talk about. This is less about Texas. I want to talk a little bit about qualifying, just real quick.
Yeah.
Because that was stupid.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be a lot better than what it was. I saw a lot of people liking it.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't think it's executed well at a mile and a half. I think it would have been cool at a short track. Bring the all, like if you brought the All-Star, like yeah, this is really like cliche and like what everyone would say, but if you brought the All-Star race to Martinsville, it would be really freaking cool to see two guys just clawing at each other to get to the front of each other. Like, I mean, there would be an actual chance to pass because like a lot of that time that was spent at Texas was getting up to speed, which like there's no momentum shifts, like there's no one's making any ground up until like turn 4, and then it's Texas, so you're not making any ground anyway. So like, yeah, I feel like at a short track, that idea pretty good. At Texas, I just send them down pit road like 150 miles an hour again.
Yeah,
honestly.
But I just
wanted to share that.
I was just glad that the crews actually got some spotlight. You know,
that was the important part.
They got it twice too, because they got it during the race, obviously, and then they got it during the 8 crews in qualifying got it. So 8 of the 20, not even half. Anyways. Also, the freaking, I don't know if you guys watched it live, but the booth, they were just waiting for that first pair to go.
I saw that,
and,
and they had a misfunction with something with the clock.
Almirola just didn't glow. Yeah,
and then they finally went, and Eric Almirola just sat there for a bit. Oh man, I will say the what happened to. Well, something dumb happened to Larson. What happened to Larson? That made it really funny.
I can't remember.
Oh, something
silly.
They
couldn't get the car jacked up? Was that him or was that Logano?
I think that was Logano. Something like specifically dumb happened to Kyle Larson, and everyone that I was watching it with was like, "Oh, this is great." It's like, this is stupid. I love it.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's a good idea.
I just wanted to bring it up.
A short track, I think, like a Martinsville or even a Bristol would work a little bit better. Have them, if you're gonna have them do it at Texas, have them run another lap. You know?
Yeah.
If it's not gonna make it any better.
I don't think it works. I don't think it works at Texas at all.
Yeah.
But
I think if you're to do it, it doesn't matter. Qualifying.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, well, I like qualifying. We like qualifying.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Okay, of course, especially what we're talking in a second. Also, Blake Shelton doing the driver intros, making a mockery of it, was really peeving me off. Oh, here comes this driver. He's not looking happy. Like, okay, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've been boozing all day and you're with your buddy Clint Boyer having fun.
In intros, I appreciate Ross's crew using him as a human battering ram to open the door, and then Suarez
Ross used his car like that.
Yeah, and then he was trying to open Kyle's door, and then Suarez absolutely punting a bottle of Coke into the crowd. So that was pretty good. So
that was All-Star Weekend. Get it out of Texas. What, Davey? I don't want to. Do you have anything?
Oh no.
Okay. Support series races, Reddick won Xfinity, Stuart Friesen won Trucks.
Hey, Stewie finally got one again.
Congrats to the 48 team. Congrats to Stewie for finally winning with Toyota.
Hey.
All right, that was your support series from Texas.
That's about all you needed to know.
No one cared. It's Texas.
There was back marker pile up in the Xfinity race, and unfortunately, Carl Long lost his former Penske car in that wreck, which made me sad.
Oh, yeah, that was big. Yeah,
shout out to Jesse Uchi being like, hey.
Just yeeting it into the grass and spinning out into it.
I want to be in that wreck.
I saw like 3 people tweet that. I was like, God bless it.
Channeling his inner Brian Scott on that one.
Anyways,
yikes.
Indy 500 qualifying was this past weekend, and it was so much more thrilling than the All-Star Open. which it was going
It's better than the
head-to-head with.
All-Star race. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
It was better than pretty much all of our All-Star weekend.
There's probably an equal amount of passing in qualifying in the race.
Shout out to Marco Andretti and Takuma Sato, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, putting up numbers for that passing number on Indianapolis 500 qualifying. Man, oh man.
How did we feel about that Fast 12 format, doing the 12 to the 6? Did we?
I mean, if there's 33 cars, I like it. I'd rather there be bump day, but yeah.
Yeah, if there's not bump day, then sure.
I would agree with that.
I think that should be probably the rule going forward if there's less than 33 cars.
Mhm.
Fast 12 to fast 6. I thought that was fun. It was good.
Yeah, I'm down.
I liked it.
All right, so let's talk about those Fast 12, because of the 12, 5 were from Ganassi, 4 of which made it to the 6, 1 of which did not.
Because he almost died.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That
It's because he almost died. It's
Yeah.
because he almost killed himself.
that was a heck of a save.
That's about, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Jimmy Johnson fan, that's about as far as you can go without hurting
Mhm.
yourself in Indy.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, that was insane. I was shaking after it happened. I was so scared. But yeah, that was big. That's a big moment.
So far this month, and they were talking about it during practice today, coming into practice today, because I think Dalton Kellett ended up getting involved in a wreck, and I forget. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
he did. He got a pretty big run.
But Jimmy hitting the wall, and then I think Sato hitting the wall on Saturday. Those were the only 2 dust ups at all for that first week. So, and they said that during the practice broadcast today, so they jinxed it. But commentators jinx. It's not just here on JTN. Yeah. No, I mean, Jimmy, and it scuttled his whole run, right? And that's kind of what expected, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had speed the day before, so I'm not like super worried. So.
Oh, yeah. Like, Ganassi as a whole is so quick.
Yeah. Who knows where he would have ended up if he got his run without the mishap, too,
Yeah.
Could have very well been up there.
5
with
of the
rest Ganassi
6.
boys.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine they had 5 of the 6? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's utter domination.
I told you Hondas were going to be quick, didn't I?
Yep.
Told you Ganassi was going to be quick.
Ed Carpenter cars. So.
And that's what I said.
Yeah. So it was fun. I mean,
I know this IndyCar thing. Just
Indy
Oh my
500
God,
qualifying
Joe!
race.
No one cares.
I did put money on Jimmy to win the 500 too, Davey, just for you.
I love you.
Thanks. I love you too, baby.
I love you.
So obviously, it's the biggest race of the year. All of motorsports. I don't care what anyone says. It's the Indy 500 this
Agreed.
weekend.
Woo!
If you got to pick a team, you're picking Ganassi. You got 5 shots. You know, that'd just be the right team to pick just from the fact that you got 5. But you got 5 fast ones.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
We're probably looking at Dixon and Palou as the favorites going into Sunday, right?
Yeah.
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 I feel like
Well, I honestly would even lean Palou too.
Yeah.
For
I would agree. Especially because he was in this situation last year. You have to think that he has learned from the and that's the thing that made last year's race, because Elio was able to like take advantage of the smallest minuscule mistake that Palou made.
Mhm.
Right? And use it to his advantage and win the race.
honestly, it's funny. This goes right back to like last week talking about Kurt Busch. Like that's Elio Castroneves being a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
just absolute professional. Yeah.
So you have to think Palou's, first off, looking for the win. Obviously he's defending series champion. What's the one thing you need left? Like, what's the one notch you need in your belt that you have left?
Mhm.
Is to win the Indy 500. I mean, pole for the 500 and stuff, but to win the race is the big one. So I have to think that he's got to be the favorite. Dixon is Scott Dixon is Scott Dixon. If they don't take themselves out of it strategy wise, he will be good. I honestly would lean Jimmy as the third of those Ganassi guys, maybe TK.
Yep. Kanon's a former winner.
Yeah.
And then obviously Ericsson. But I would put those 5 Ganassi cars as the 5 favorites. Maybe put Renus VK up there too, because he's really quick and Carpenter always has speed come race day.
It's devastatingly scary how good that like all those Ganassi teams are. Like Ericsson being probably the odd man out, but like, you know,
But he's
Scott
still
Dixon
really
is,
good.
Exactly, he is. Scott Dixon is a serial winner. Jimmy Johnson, albeit not an IndyCar, serial winner. Alex Palou, probably the favorite for the 500 this year. TK, serial winner, and has gotten it done in Indianapolis before. Like, it's scary. It's scary how good those four are. Just mentality alone, scary. Yeah.
Like I said, then you probably look at Carpenter and you look at VK. You probably look at Arrow, McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Pato, especially there. But outside of that, it doesn't like I don't really see a lot of speed in Andretti.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Andretti's been out to lunch. It feels like for the last year and a half.
Alexander Rossi would tell you the same thing.
Yeah, Grosjean's been the only one who's really done anything. Yeah,
outside of
Herta. And Herta. Yeah,
but Herta just doesn't like he's good on ovals. Like this isn't a knock, but it feels he's obviously a lot better on street courses, right?
Yeah,
that's where Herta shines. Penske doesn't feel like they've brought crazy speed. Will Power got in the Fast 12, but feel like that was probably a lot of self-motivation to do that after last year.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got Dale Coyne, you got Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, you got, like, defending winners, Meyer Shank don't feel like they're there, but they've obviously got two guys that have won the race, one of which is going for 5, going for the record, so it still feels like there's a lot of parity in the field, but it feels like the Ganassi cars are going to be the best.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's my favorite saying in motorsports is, the speedway picks the winner. So
yeah, can't wait for all 5 Ganassi cars to like wreck each other at 50.
It's
gonna happen.
Darn, it's just gonna happen.
I just the one thing I always look for going into the 500, like I want a great race, but I don't want a big catastrophic wreck.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I always ask for. If I'm asking
people turn a blind eye to how dangerous Indy is.
Like, what was the 2020 race where you had that big wreck coming off of 4?
Ask you.
Yeah.
And he was concussed too, right? He was like that end of the season, basically.
Who was it who hit the end of the pit wall too?
I think that's
that wreck, yeah.
Oh, it was it VK who hit the inside wall super hard, or
oh yeah.
on the restart?
Oh yeah, there was 2. There were. Oh yeah.
Because then VK he missed a couple races after that, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and Askew was concussed from whatever his wreck was too. I think he raced the next weekend, but he was out of it.
Oh no, it wasn't VK. He finished 3rd.
I always think of Hinch's wreck in practice. I know it was practice, but
look up Oliver Askew, buddy. I'm telling you, I think that's him.
I was at the race where Dixon flipped in the Camping World car. That was not fun.
That dude, did you see him flip? How high did he get? Because I can never get a gauge on how high he went, but it looks like he got serious air.
So
like
I was on the
scary air.
I was on the viewing mound on the exit of 2. So on the inside exit of 2, and they were on that chute, on the south chute.
Ooh, yeah.
When that happened. So, I mean, I feel like I saw just like the tip of his wing. Could be wrong. But that's kind of how I remember it, and that's like a pretty far distance.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, every time I see that wreck, I feel like some of those camera angles are so deceiving with how high he went. Like it's insane.
Indianapolis is the one track you have to visit out of all of them. But yes, sorry.
Askew was the one who spun off a 4 and hit the inside wall on the restart, and Piggott was the one who hit the end of the pit wall. That's what it was.
Piggott.
Forgot about him.
We love Spencer Piggott.
Yeah, as long as we don't get anything like that, it'd be a good race.
Yeah. Another Connor Daly moment from like last year with the crowd going crazy would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in a Carpenter car too, so
it's possible.
Yeah.
That thing's gonna be fast.
Should have good speed.
Well, probably could have won last year if it wasn't for Ray Hall's tire bouncing off his front wing.
Yeah.
Heyo, I said it.
Heyo.
Anyway, I can't wait.
So.
No, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
This is where I'm going to ask you to actually pick a winner. Davey's going to pick Jimmy.
I am gonna pick Jimmy Johnson.
I'm gonna take Polo because I already said it. So dibs.
I'm gonna go Carpenter. So
Ed
I'm
Carpenter.
feeling it.
That'd
Yeah,
be
sure.
a story.
That would be a story and a half.
He's always good here too.
That'd be really cool.
That dude's gonna race the Indy 500 until he's 65 years old.
Yeah.
He's gonna try and win it every year of his life. I just don't see it. I just don't see him stopping.
I loved when him and Conway, or not Conway, no, yeah, it was him and Conway when they used to share his car because Carpenter was like, I don't want to run the road courses because I'm bad at them, and Conway's like, well, I don't want to run the ovals because I hate them.
Crazy.
You're like, cool.
Match
This works great.
Yeah. If you put us together, you'd have one really good IndyCar driver.
So,
Oh man.
yeah, I'm hoping this is another classic race like last year, or the year before, or the year before that, or the year before that, or they're all classics. Again, if you ever had the opportunity, this is the race you go to, out of all of them.
Mhm.
If you have friends that don't like it, there's there's obviously the Snake Pit. It's an atmosphere. It's a party. It's the Indy 500. It's bigger, better, badder than every single race. It just is.
In my opinion, and I haven't gone yet, but in my opinion, probably the greatest sporting event in the world.
Hard to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got something for everyone, I think, is the big thing. And the whole
Exactly.
and the whole town Speedway Indiana buys into the event.
Yep.
So that's the other big thing. Like
Which makes it better.
I don't know if you get the same thing in Daytona for the 500 or
Not really.
Like I would liken it, now living in Ann Arbor for a couple of years, to having that like college game day-esque atmosphere in terms of like the energy
Mm-hmm.
around that race.
Yeah.
Could even feel it when I went there. It's just the track. The track's so cool. Anyways, from a historic race that's always really entertaining to a historic race that sucks most years. None of us watched F1 last week, so we're not going to act like we saw anything. I think Verstappen won, whatever. Whoever qualifies on pole, of course, wins this race this weekend.
Barring stupid pit issues. Gonna give a certain viewer PTSD for last year.
Alteri?
Yeah.
That's mean.
Some say the wheel nut is still on the left front of his car.
Shout out NASCAR for saying, hey, wheel nut, good idea.
Yeah. I love the dichotomy between those two different things because when Valtteri had his wheel nut issue, like Mercedes had to take the car back to the factory and there were like a surgeon like picking it apart and it took him like a week. And then Eric Jones' crew, when they had the same issue, they're like, just cut the wheel apart.
Start off. What the hell?
Somebody get a Sawzall. We can fix this.
Anyways, Monaco is obviously very boring. You pretty much watch it because that way you can say you watch motorsports all day, or at least that's why I would.
Yeah. Monaco's gonna suck as long as the cars are boats. So
You watch Monaco qualifying though. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
That's fun.
So
That's
a
where the
really
race
fun
is
track.
won.
It's a really fun track to drive, and that's about all we can say about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun
So-
track to drive. You can't race.
Good
Yep.
spectacle, but yeah.
My favorite analogy ever was when Nelson Piquet Sr. described Monaco as like riding your bike around your living room. So
Yeah. That's very fair. That's very
So-
fair. Picks. I don't really know if we need to make picks. It'll be a Red Bull or it'll be a Ferrari, so
yeah.
Charles Leclerc.
yeah. Didn't he qualify pole last year and then they bent the suspension so he didn't start?
He like started on pole and then I think he wrecked on his next lap or something like that. Can't
I
remember
thought
what
he
it
didn't even
was.
start the race.
I think so.
Because I
But
remember
yeah,
watching that one.
He wrecked the car and they ended up not starting, but I think he was on pole.
Okay, like he wrecked it in warm up.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take Leclerc. It's his home race. I'll give him some redemption, I guess.
I'll go for the hat trick. Well, I'll take Leclerc. All right.
Alright.
World 600 is this weekend, of course, in Charlotte. It's the longest race of the year, outside of maybe the Southern 500. Because the Southern 500 is long.
Yeah.
Is
Distance
it?
wise, longest race.
Distance-wise, longest race. Time-wise, maybe not.
Yeah.
Obviously, NASCAR does the fun thing with 4 stages at 100 laps apiece. Davey's going to be there in person. He's going to get us all kinds of great content for JTN. I just know he will. Probably not do that, but that's okay. Because this isn't a business trip. This is a leisure trip.
Hey, Joe, if you went, maybe I would.
Thank you. Thank you for not saying the thing you wanted to. I appreciate you, Davey.
Ryan Preece.
All right, that's who you're taking for trucks?
Yep.
All right, who are you taking for Xfinity?
Oh, Jesus.
Guess what?
Ryan Preece.
Who are you going to take for Cup? You can do it again.
Ryan Preece! Yeah!
Wait, can we also pick the US Oil at GoPro? Can we do picks for that race too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we take Ryan Preece on that one too if he shows up?
I'll DM him on Twitter.
All right, I'm gonna pick Will for GoPro, by the way. So, look, he's the local. Okay, he's the hometown kid.
He's the local. He's the one that weighs 110 pounds.
Yeah,
that's it.
He knows the track better, and he's got like a 40-pound advantage on everybody.
Ah.
Is that Thursday?
Yeah.
When are you heading up there?
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right, cool. So you get to spend some extra time up there, because I know last year didn't you leave on Thursday?
Yeah. I left
You
on
missed
Thursday.
GoPro and stuff.
And I haven't seen any of the race shops since 2012. So I'm gonna go see some of the race shops.
Some of them
yeah.
are still closed. I think Kendrick's still closed.
I think they're opening.
Yeah, people have been updating in the meetup server about what's all open.
Yeah.
God, y'all have a server for a meetup too? Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it started as a group chat, and then it blew up, and we're like, oh, we got to make a server so we can actually keep track of all this. So
God,
Yeah.
young people are weird.
Anyway, a lot of the shops are opening up now.
Okay.
Yeah. KBM's shop is a must-see. That shop is super cool.
It was cool when I went there in 2012. I can only imagine what's in there now.
Are you guys going to the Hall of Fame too?
I doubt all these people are going to go to the Hall of Fame because it's boring. But I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame. I've gone to the Hall of Fame a few times. I think it's cool. So
I mean, we went last year and it was so cool.
I think it's
I
cool.
loved it.
I
don't mind going again. And I'll do the simulator stuff too. I don't give a crap. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun experience. You
Are
got
you gonna do the pit crew thing?
I always do the pit crew thing.
Yeah.
Can you get someone to film you doing that so I can post it to TikTok?
I'll try.
Me, Tommy, and Jack set like the second fastest time they'd ever had there. We grinded. We did like 6 or 7 in a row trying to beat the fast time. So.
Yeah, I don't know who would go with me, but maybe I can get some people who are like down to clown to come with me and do some silly stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah. Fame's great.
It's good. It's good time.
If you're in Charlotte and you see Davey, tell him hi. Although I'm pretty sure all the people that watch this that will be in Charlotte probably are already going to see Davey.
know me.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be there. So
these things happen.
Say hi anyway, though.
Say hi. Make sure you say hi. And make sure it's from the Fake Races podcast.
Make sure
Big fan. Ask him for a picture.
So. Please ask him for a picture and then post it on Twitter and tag @FakeRacers.
Yeah.
If you ask me for a picture like in a crowded area, I think it'll be the funniest thing ever. People will think I'm so cool.
Yes. Do it at the track.
I'm gonna have every USRL member conspiring with me after we go over like to the Charlotte side of the street, the CMS side of the street, and they're all gonna one by one ask me for a picture, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
You'll be like in a crowd of people and be like, are you Davey Hazard from the Fake Racers podcast on JTN too?
I'll be
like, oh my god, this is happening so many times. Oh,
please do it. You would make me so happy. And if you record it, that would make me even happier.
I want someone to like run up to me with the phone out.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's gonna be like someone stupid like Jag, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, is that L?" And I'm gonna be like, okay.
Remember GoPro last season?
Thanks, Jag. Thanks, Alex. Bud. Appreciate it.
We'll just lock him on the balcony again, so it'll be fine.
If I'm picking, I'd take Zane Smith in trucks. I'd take Ty Gibbs in Xfinity, and I'd take Kyle Busch in Cup. Boring picks, but those are who I would pick.
I'm gonna take John Hunter because that's equally as boring. AJ Allmendinger, and you know what? I'm feeling dumb. Give me Truex. It's about time.
I feel like we'll get another new winner in the Cup
Ryan
race. Honestly, if Ryan Preece gets a top 15, I feel like you win. Like, just in general.
America
see
wins
Ryan
if he
Preece
gets a top
race
15.
3 times. Yeah.
I think he's run Hunt Brothers in all 3, too, so you'll be able to pick him out pretty easily.
Gonna get a hot zaw?
Yeah. I'm gonna get some zaw, dude.
Are you guys
are you
guys
Ryan
doing the
Preece.
sweet thing for the trucks?
No.
Just do a normal
That
Grand
was so
Can.
fun when we did that.
Dude, it
Oh
was
my
a
God.
good thing to do once.
Yeah.
Just one time.
Yeah.
Hey, are you guys gonna watch the ARCA race?
Some people are. I'm not. I'm gonna do something with my time.
Yeah.
I'll probably go to GoPro again. I don't care. I don't want to do that nonsense. That sounds boring.
Hey, maybe you can see Justin Marks.
I would love to see.
I met him when we were there last time, so he'll probably.
I know. Yeah, you had a reason to go up to him too. I was just like, oh my God, it's just a mic. Like I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Because you are from damn near the same hometown or whatever, right?
The same hometown, yeah.
Yeah, the same hometown. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Unreal.
All right, well, folks, that's gonna do it for this week's edition of the Fake Racers podcast. We had fun, I think, this week.
Yeah.
Shout out to NASCAR for fumbling the bag that they had so steadily and so confidently going into this weekend.
For real, we could have just gone out of Texas and been like, "Man, that was boring." Whatever, on to Charlotte. Instead, everybody's mad.
Can't thank you enough as always for watching. Remember to click like on the video, like the podcast if you're listening. Follow us on Twitter, Johto Network, Fake Racers, TikTok, Johto Network, Facebook, Johto Network. It's pretty easy. YouTube, JTN2, and Johto Network. Matthew,
I love the energy.
Matthew wore a great shirt tonight. So very appreciative
Totally
of
not
that.
inspired by anything that happened at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend.
Very appreciative of that shirt.
I could stand up and clap for it.
Yeah. Somebody could.
Matthew, where can they find more from you before I start laughing too much?
You can find me on Twitter at msteelman51. My YouTube account, Dale Jr. 88 Rocks. I got a comment from Kermit the Frog himself saying you like the Makita Truck Series, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. That's my socials.
For Davey, you can find him at D7H5, D7H5 with an ER at the end, and at Davey Hazard.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna play with the medium again with intros and outros. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fake Racers podcast. I'm Davey. That's Joe. That's Matt. We're just coming off of Coke 600 weekend. It's good to be back in Florida. I had a good trip in Charlotte. I'm ready to talk about this weekend
folks,
of racing.
We will see you next week, and we'll start out just like that.
Verbatim.
We don't have to do an intro.
Thanks
We're done.
Thanks for
No
watching,
intro.
guys.
Goodbye.